we have spawning at the bottom right. We got our blue Zerg player. He recently came back from the military and ready to start off the year with a bang. He's our blue Zerg from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Put your hands together for SOO.
And we've got his opponent spawning in the top left corner as the Red Terran from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Kier. So ever since Innovation went off to do his military service, I feel like, I mean, of course we've got Maru, right? But Kier is definitely the Terran that I've had my eyes on when it comes to macro play and solid, just straight up, you know, no nonsense gameplay.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of somewhat to his detriment because, you know, people may find him a bit boring to watch. Because he plays, yeah, he doesn't play too crazy, I would say. Maru, he takes a bit more risk. And
right.
I think it has served him well, as he is right now currently the third place, or the third highest career earner in StarCraft 2 history, as well as 4 GSL championships. But Kier, he's right there. I mean, in terms of skills, he, you know, in certain days he does look like the best, not only Terran but the best player in the world. But he you know, he has his swings. He's, you know, sometimes he looks a little bit mediocre, but then sometimes he looks like he's really scary.
Yeah, definitely. This is one part of the StarCraft 2 competitive scene that I actually really like, is that you get so much diversity in gameplay, and you also get a lot of variability within the individual pro players, because like you said, sometimes one player is going to skyrocket to the literally the very top, and then other times they're just going to crash and burn. And I'm not saying that I celebrate those crashes and burns, but I think that it's nice to have this variability. It's nice when, you know, you've got especially up-and-comers making it really big, that kind of thing. I think that those are the moments to celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, we recently just had Crater in the GSL finals. That is something to definitely celebrate, as always great to see new faces kind of rising up in terms of the level, and it's also beautiful to see an Overlord being gunned down by a pack of Marines.
Yeah, I love this. Kier, maybe he thought that SOO was actually queuing up as Protoss, because he's going for the exact same 3-rack stim timing that he did against Hero earlier. I like it a lot. He caught SOO off guard with that one Overlord. Of course, the other Overlords are protected. One of them is outside of the main in dead airspace. Another one is on top of a pylon, so there is no risk that it is going to die anytime soon. And yeah, I think that maybe that's going to give SOO a hint. Now, question is, will he be able to defend in time? He has a little bit of time before the push comes across the map, so he will spend it droning up, as all Zergs should do. And it looks like it's going to be a Roachhorn. Very interesting.
Yeah, he's gonna try to use roaches to defend. Now, keep in mind that SOO took the pocket base instead of the vertical 0 o'clock base, which means that Kier can kind of fly between those two bases, the third and the first, the main base, with the medevacs. And so it's going to be up to SOO to really kind of allocate his army correctly in terms of balance.
I like what SOO's doing here with that tiny group of Lings. He's just trying to, you know, poke and prod and see if he can either keep the Marines at home or just run into the natural if the supply depot wall is not finished. But of course the Lings are going to group back up with the Queens. Does SOO have enough to defend? It looks like the Queens are going to be enough for now to pick off the first Marine. More Lings are being made, and SOO is actually going to go back to droning, so both players are not willing to take too many risks, right? We see that Kier did indeed back off with the Marines once he saw SOO's army once he killed off I believe like a single creep tumor or something small like that. And then of course the opponent, SOO, going back into droning and not really chasing with the Lings. These Lings are going to try to find some damage over at the natural base. They are going to see that there are more Marines on the low ground, so they are not going to chase into the base just yet. But now we see Roaches, we see Ravagers. SOO is going to tech up just a little bit, and these Lings are going to have the freedom to move around on the map. I like this playstyle a lot.
Looks like Kira is waiting for those medevacs to arrive before he fully commits to attack. Well, in the meantime, he is going to go ahead and smartly take out these creep tumors because that will. You don't want to be surrounded by those roaches and ravagers. And here we go. Tank will go ahead and be plotted down. Not quite sieging, as SOO doing a really great job, just kind of delaying this attack here. And
oh yeah. Okay, so the Lings did get in range with of that tank for just a little bit, but yeah, like you said, the reason why Kier needed to take out those creep tumors was to deny the high ground vision, and it essentially forced SOO to bring those Lings onto the high ground. But hold that thought, because there is a pretty big drop in the main base. They are going to take down a few Roaches, but the Ravagers are going to come up and deal with that just fine. So all in all, SOO has had a very successful time defending against his Terran opponent. Here, not quite able to find the damage that I think he wants or that he prefers.
Yeah, however, the attack is not over. He has another set of Marines and medevacs here at the top side. The one thing, though, that I would love SOO to do right now is just spread the creep a bit further onto the left side, because I feel like the left side creep is a little bit recessed, not too far. So I want him to like kind of start spreading to that side, especially with those Marines there parked at the watchtower.
Yeah, definitely. Now those two Roaches are okay. The nice thing about Roaches is, of course, they are armored. They are a little bit, or actually a lot more durable than Lings. So, you know, they can take a few pot shots and they're going to be just fine. They are also quite cheap. And SOO is obviously famous for his usage of that army composition. Now look at this. He is going to take a fourth base, but that drop is just in the perfect location to kill it off. SOO with a very, very clutch cancel timing on that hatch. And Kier just being an absolute nuisance with these drops. So we are going into a very, very nice macro game.
Yeah, it would seem like so. I mean, looks like SOO establishing his fourth base now. And Kier, of course, getting his upgrades as well. Concussive Shell is about to finish, so that should allow him some nice kind of slowdown with the Marauders on those Roaches and the Lings as well. As you know, the majority of SOO's army is in those Roaches and Ravagers right now, so you know, if you can kind of mix some extra Marauders in there, that will be that will serve him well during the big fight. However, there is this annoying drop here that is once again might actually force a cancel, which will be really annoying for SOO here. Oh yeah.
Oh no way. SOO is quite desperate to get a fourth base up and running. It's almost 10 minutes, so he will actually take the fifth base location as well, just in case this fourth base location does not succeed in getting up because of that single drop. There is another regiment of Marines up to the north. They are going to scout out that indeed there is another hatch over there, and yeah, overall SOO does have pretty good vision of the drops around his bases. He is also going to take the watchtower as well, but I don't know. I feel like the only reason why he was able to max out this quickly, despite not having a fourth base up and running, is simply because of his army composition. Roaches and Ravagers are very cheap, and that makes them very supply heavy, relative to other units. I do like his choice to go into Vipers. You know, we're basically approaching the late game. It's basically about time to have spellcasters, but here he's, not doing too bad as well. He is going to start cleaning up that creep. I think that SOO must have heard you, Snoopy. I think that he started spreading creep pretty adequately on the left-hand side, and Kira definitely noticed that, and he's trying to clean it up now.
Yeah, we'll buy Su a bit more time as he tries to get at least the 3 o'clock base under control from that drop. Yeah, it looks like it looks like Su's going for the Ultralisk then. Of course, that will not arrive in time before this attack commences, but if he does, pushes this back, he will have the Ultralisk, which I don't know, it might not be the best choice because Kira already has Marauders for those Roaches and Ravagers. So, Marauders can really do well against Ultralisk, so I'm not sure about that choice, but we shall see. If he can kind of clean up the rest of the Marauders during the big fight, then maybe that can bode well for his Ultralisk transition here.
Yeah, he did just finish +1 melee, Su that is, so he is going to be focusing a lot more on the Lings and Banes. I think this is the right move. He's realizing that the Roaches are possibly starting to outlive their viability. The base is going to get picked off by the bio. Su not quite able to trade out such that he could save the hatch. Now, is he going to jump on top of this bio? No, it looks like he's happy to just give up a little bit more ground. This is the kind of patience that you need to be a top-tier Zerg player. So I definitely respect it a lot. He is building up a bank. Well, as I say that, see, like, I respect this kind of gameplay a lot because you need to have patience. You cannot afford to just jump on top of the bio because that's exactly what the Terran player wants. But yeah, at the same time, both players are banking up a lot. Both are getting a lot of their upgrades. So it looks like Su is just going to continue stalling all the way up until he can get Ultras out.
Oh no, I am, looks like there's a little bit of lag on my end
here. Oh, same here.
Oh, same.
Yeah, my ping just spiked. But you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Looks like the stream is still going on, so... sometimes Korea does have...
lag spikes.
Yeah, lag spikes. Looks like it's normalizing.
Yeah, what's your ping?
Over 1,000.
Oh man.
Oh, but it looks okay for now. So maybe, hopefully.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's back to normal. All right. So here we go. Looks like Kira's gonna go ahead and try to dive in further. It looks like Su finally taking that top right base finally, but he still needs to contend with this huge army to the south side, and looks like Su kind of biding his time, just waiting for some more reinforcements. Maybe if he can kind of buy himself enough time for the 2-2 upgrade, that would be really nice. Because right now, Kira, he's got a huge upgrade lead.
But look at that! The medevac's getting a little bit too far forward. They are going to be caught out, and they are going to get parabombed by the Vipers. Now, honestly, I don't think that was the best use of the Viper energy. But at the same time, Su knew that he's probably never going to go up the ramp, and so, the next best thing is probably Abducts or Blinding Clouds on the tanks. But since he knew he was never going to go up onto the high ground, he had no need for that. So that was a little bit of a mistake. The Banelings did get to connect on that front wave of bio there. So they are going to get remade at home, of course. But yeah, looks like this fight is not going to end anytime soon as Kira is just setting up. Look at how deep his tank line is. I mean, that is just impossible to break.
Yeah, that's really well spread there, I gotta say. I agree with you. Nice pre-spread there. And right now, Kira just seems to be taking his half of the side of the map. Su as well, but unfortunately for a Zerg player, you want to stay ahead, at least one base ahead of your opponent. And right now, it does not. I mean, let's take a look at the income graph. Yeah, just spiking hugely for our red Terran.
Yeah, not only that, but Su's creep spread is severely lacking in this game. I mean, I get it, like he's had a lot to deal with, but if he had a little bit more creep spread, he'd be able to regain control of his side of the map. Okay, it looks like this base... Oh my god, okay, Ultras are coming in, Blinding Cloud going down. Looks like this is going to be the make it or break it moment. First few tanks do go down, but look at this. Roaches, Ravagers, Lings, Banes, Queens, everything is just dying because there are so many tanks over in the back line. Now finally, Ravagers are going to get up onto the high ground to finally clean it up. At the same time, we do see a drop over at the northernmost base of the Zerg, taking care of a bunch of drones. Man, that was a costly fight for SOO.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if you look at the resources lost tab, you can see Kier has been more efficient, at least by almost 5,000 resources. So yeah, it looks like Kier sitting okay-ish. I mean, he is down in terms of the supply, but you gotta remember the supply is inflated with those roaches as well as those ultralisks. So
right.
In fact, Kier is ideally he would be ahead if you factor in the kind of the unit composition, especially the economy. I mean, 72 workers to 60. You know, SOO doesn't even have enough drones to saturate 3 bases right now.
Yeah. The only advantage that gives you is that SOO's army value is gonna go way up higher. Now look at this. His Lings, Banes, Ultras, Roaches, Ravagers, they're all gonna stream on forward. A very nice Parabomb going down on the Medivacs. Ultras still are coming out in force. Now these ghosts are just getting a little bit vulnerable. Look at that. The Ultras are gonna jump on top of them. Is this how they die? I don't think so. They are gonna fire off a few more snipes. Bunch of Ultras are gonna die, but Kier's base is gonna have to lift off, but it does get to land once again, so I think Kier is gonna hold. He does spend his entire mineral bank. Look at that.
Wow.
Honestly, I feel like that trade went a lot better for SOO. Obviously, he was not able to break the Terran player. That is a very rare occurrence in Zerg versus Terran. And it looks like SOO is actually going to try again, taking advantage of the Zerg macro cycles. A lot of Banelings are coming in, but look at that. It's not going to be enough. There are so many ghosts, and the rest of this bio is going to clean up the Zerg so easily. Kier, with the solid advantage throughout this game, is going to take it finally. Yeah, SOO trying to emulate Dark, trying to channel his inner Dark for a second, but not quite able to pull it off. Of course, Kier did have a lot of patience with his bio and with his tanks. He just kept his tanks sieged up. He maintained that line, and he, you know, just whittled down his opponent little by little until the point where both players were able to tech up all the way up to tier 3 units, right? So it felt like Kier was non-stop at the edge of the creep at the 4th and 5th bases. Just kept trading out the bio, and then of course we saw Ultras coming in, Vipers, but then once the Ghosts came out, it was pretty much game. So very well played by Kier.
Yeah, and I also mentioned there again earlier on that I wasn't sure if Ultralist was the best choice, just because
right,
the Marauders were already kind of in full production just because of the roaches that SOO already had. It's kind of like when the Protoss against a Zerg player opens up with a Stargate and try to transition to DTs. It's like not gonna, usually it doesn't quite work out well, because you know the Zerg player is gonna usually have spores against the oracles or the phoenixes, so they're really gonna have detection against DT. So you know you quite often do not see Protoss opening up with, you know, Stargate play and then transitioning into DT Dark Shrine. So
now in that case, what would you think is a better army unit for the Zerg to go for?
you know, I think there's
maybe Hydra Lurker?
Yeah, Hydra Lurker would have been actually pretty okay. Yeah,
they pair quite well with Vipers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be honest, you know, Zerg with Lurkers are almost usually a good choice. Lurkers
Right.
are just so strong. I mean,
Right.
they do splash damage, and they can be annoying if you can kind of park them into the Terran's mineral line, one by one.
Yeah. My only concern is that with that number of tanks that Cure had, the Lurkers would only be useful in holding off the bio, but as long as Cure is able to micro the tanks, he will always have the advantage over the Lurkers.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all assuming that the Vipers are not out on the field. Once they are out on the field, then of course the momentum switches back to Su's favor theoretically, where he can yoink the Vipers. Excuse me, not yoink the Vipers. How could they yoink themselves? They would yoink the tanks, and yeah. And also because he opened up Roach Ravager, maybe a Roach Hydra, like a very durable army composition of that sort. Now, speaking of Roach Ravager, we do see a Roach Horn about to finish up in this game, so obviously Su loves his roaches.
Yeah, I think he, before he went out to the military, a lot of Su's wins utilized Roach play, and I don't know if maybe he's not quite into the meta, but Roach play isn't really as strong as it used to be. So
yeah. Look at that. A bunch of Lings tried to get some SUV kills, but they just got cleaned up by the Hellions. So already not a good start. Cure knows what's up. He's going to put down a second bunker as well. And of course, we do see that first Banshee just about to pop. So regardless of what happens, these Roaches, Ravagers, and Lings are not going to survive this attack.
Yeah, Kira is just like really set up right now to hold this. I would be surprised if Su manages to break this, but I mean anything can happen.
Yeah, especially depending on the biles. Now the SUVs are going to get a good wrap on the bunkers. Look at that, all the Lings are going to go down. Some more Lings are going to reinforce, but the second bunker is starting to come into play. Banshee, of course, dealing a lot of damage, doesn't have many kills, but its damage output is insane. And that is going to be game as Su falls a little bit flat on his face with the Roach Ravager timing. Yeah, StarCraft is such a unique competitive sport in that it's all about optimization, right? It's almost basically 0.001% luck. And so when you have that much optimization, you need to be able to keep your emotions in check. You need to be able to keep yourself in check, essentially. And I mean, in a lot of ways, it could be considered sad, but I think it's kind of beautiful. You get to see the strengths of a lot of these players. Now, look at that. Cure getting his Reaper out with 5 HP, literally one Zergling hit away. But it does get a couple of kills too, so it has already basically paid for itself.
Yeah, pretty much. And now he's just gonna taunt that Queen there. Queen is like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna chase him. I'm just gonna go back and lay eggs.
Now, some real power moves by the Reaper would be to put a Reaper grenade behind the Queen and to force the Queen even further off of creep, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen with the second Queen coming down. Oh wow, I just noticed that. Very quick layer and no third base. So what do you think this could be? Could this be something like 2-base Muta? Could this be... I think it's a little too late for Roachnitis, right? Because we don't see a Roach Warren. And it looks like Su still wants to take that third base.
Yeah, we might see that same like Queen Ling Nidus play, but it didn't work out before. Maybe Su is trying to make that happen once again, but yeah, without a third and fourth gas, I don't think it's quite meterless play. So it'll be interesting to see what he decides to go for. We will find out once that lair is up. Throwing down the Banelings nest. Interesting.
It could just be a very asymmetrical transition into a very normal composition. We have seen this before with a lot of professional Zergs where it's like, yeah, it's fine. You know, the layer can come a little bit earlier, the layer can come a little bit later. The Zerg as a race is definitely more flexible than its other counterparts. Oh, okay, so we do see the Spire. Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be just a sort of asymmetrical opening, but going into a very standard Muta Ling Bane type of composition.
Yeah, this is interesting because it's going to be a later Spire. So we'll see if Kira can kind of catch eye on this. He's going to have plenty of time to prepare. In the meantime, he will go ahead and start landing his third base there. Oh, looks like these Marines going to give chase. Not going to be quite there in time. Oh wow! I just realized that cliff area where their Overlord is. There's this like huge meal-like thingy that is. Okay, it looks like it's repairing some ship or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Like a giant repair drone. I think that actually is literally a giant drone because in co-op, they reuse, or like in general, StarCraft reuses a lot of models. And so I think that model is like Swan's auto drone thing or something like that.
Ah, I see.
So here it's being shown as piloted, mech. Anyways.
Man, you know, like if that was a meal, I bet it would mine out like a huge mineral line in like 1 minute.
Yeah, it would literally take one whole mineral chunk at a time. Okay, so Kira's gonna push on forward. He's got his timing coming up soon. Queens are gonna hold the front line. We do have Banelings. Bane speed is about 2/3 finished, so SOO is going to need to hold off for quite a long time before he has that available. He does have Mutas, so they will give him a little bit more flexibility, but so far, Kira is just happy to plow on through all of this creep. He is losing quite a few SCVs to the Mutas. So far, 10 have gone down, and yes, I mean, I think that the Mutas were a good move.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
At the very least, it bought him some time, and now the baning speed is going to finish this time around. So this next engagement should theoretically serve SOO a bit better, but the creep spread still not the greatest here, especially on the backside. And that means that, especially since Kira is attacking here on the backside, it's gonna be a bit harder for those banelings to connect to those Marines here. Let's see how SOO engages here.
Okay, so the Mutas are going to join the Ling Bane. It looks like SOO thinks he has enough to just jump on top of this. He's going to force a liftoff, and of course that makes the medevacs vulnerable to the Mutas, and actually there's going to be enough Mutas to just handle all of the Marines on their own. So this was an excellent cleanup by our Blue Zerg player. I'm sure he's very happy with how that turned out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because right now, not only did he defend that, but he saved the majority of his Mutalists. And that Mutalist number is gonna just keep increasing as you can see more Mutalists onto production. And when the Zerg player gets an optimal amount of Mutalists, you can build all the turrets you want, but those Mutalists are just gonna go ahead and just absolutely snipe them down so quickly, and that could be very annoying to deal with.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that critical mass is maybe around 20 or 25. Above that, it's like diminishing returns, right?
Sounds about right, yeah. Like maybe 20 to 30 or so Mutalists.
Right. Okay, but what I do like coming out of Cure is that he's going for a bunch of Widow Mines. And of course, Widow Mines are the perfect counter to this army composition. They are great against Lings, they are great against Banes. And oh wow, those Banelings are just going to detonate on top of those mines before they fire. So a little bit of luck, I would say. I'm not too sure. But anyways, yeah, so they not only counter Ling Bane, but they also counter Mutas. The Mutas already require a lot of babysitting, but you throw in a couple of mines, you throw in a couple of good hits, and all of a sudden, half of the Mutas are gone in an instant. So there is potential for Cure to hold off SOO and, make a very nice comeback.
Alright, looks like the middle is trying to find some vulnerable areas to attack. I would suggest he just goes straight into the main base right now. I mean, there's really not a lot. There's like one turret. I think maybe a few Marines there. I think the Mutalisk can take care of that. If he can kind of get on top of the production building, especially the reactors, because the oh,
ouch. Okay, so a lot of mutas do take a lot of damage. Of course, mutas do heal up quickly outside of combat, so the rest of them are going to be able to heal up. There is a little bit of a drop in the main base of SOO as well. Only 2 drones have gone down, so very timely pull on the SCVs. Excuse me, not SCVs, drones. But at the same time, we do see the main Bioforce setting up in the middle of the map. A huge minefield, a very nice spread of mines as well. First wave of Banelings are going to engage. But yeah, that Thor is out, and I believe the army supplies are actually quite even. Let's see here.
yeah, it's evenish. But of course, the Banelings can be the game changer if they can get the good connections that SOO is looking for. He's gonna clean up the majority of the ones that are behind the gold base. Now he's fighting off of creep, but there's just too much on the ground for SOO. Oh, huge Widowmite though!
Wow.
Connects with the Banelings. However, the Mutalisks are going to continue to give chase here. There's one door that is holding up pretty strong. We'll go ahead and concentrate onto the Mutalisks, but the Banelings will clean up some of the Marines, but with the reinforcements, looks like Kira will hold for now.
Oh man, that was intense. So looking at the resources lost tab, this is pretty typical of a Terran versus Zerg. The Terran taking the advantage in terms of the resources. However, Kira has gone so long without a 4th base. This gold base needs to be able to mine. He needs to be able to suck up all of that mineral income using the mules. And he needs to be able to do it quickly in order to catch up in resources. His opponent, SOO, has already been building up quite a bit of a bank. Kira himself does not have that kind of bank. And he's still pushing out onto the map. I like it. He's maintaining that presence, and he's holding off the Zerg.
Yeah, but now the upgrade is done for a SOO here. Looks like he will go ahead. Oh! Gotta be careful.
Yeah. You absolutely cannot walk into a bunch of missile turrets plus a Thor like that.
Alright, looks like SOO recognizes that he's probably not going to be able to break Kira right now, so going to go ahead and start getting that hive tech running. Yeah, because right now he needs some sort of tier 3. He can't rely on just laying Baneling and Mutalisk for now, as Kira is starting to implement those doors into his composition, along with the bow and Widowmite as well. So he needs something besides what he has right now. However, I'm wondering what he is gonna probably go for. Whether he goes for Broodlords, maybe Ultralisk, maybe some Viper. I would imagine some Vipers.
I think he's definitely gonna need the Vipers at the very least for blinding clouds against this kind of army. He's gonna actually stream on forward with his Ling Bane. Look at these trades, absolutely insane. The Widowmines are gonna get decent connections. And once again, the Bio holds. The Bio is going to back up behind the Thor. Going to hold off on the attack for now and wait until they have reinforcements. But overall, pretty decent trades for Kira. SOO is definitely feeling a little bit of the pressure. He's no longer taking fights off of creep, possibly indicating that he doesn't want to trade inefficiently anymore. Although he does have a very nice bank, so it's not like he can't chase off creep, he's just choosing not to.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart move. I mean, there's really no hurry for him right now to end the game. He still has a good chunk of bases. Right now, I love this. He's instead of going for any sort of attack or big attack and kill, he's gonna just fly into the main base. He's gonna kill off some of these add-ons. You know, it takes a bit longer for reactors to remake, so nice kill there on the reactor. And, just gonna harass for while he techs up to hive tech. We'll throw down 2 Ultralisks then.
Okay. Oh man, Sue, I love you. I mean,
Or
we've seen double
Ultraless
Hydra
Cavern.
Dens before, but here we have double Ultra Caverns. He's trying to
Yeah.
get both upgrades at the same time. He's trying to go all in on Ultraless. And I think it could be a good move, you know? Like, we see a bunch of Widow Mines, which are not as ideal as, for example, Liberators or, for example, Siege Tanks. And I also, again, agree with you on what the Mutas are doing, right? The Mutas obviously cannot fight in a straight-up fight, not like Lingbane Ultra. But what they can do is continue harassing and take down some key buildings. Look at this, an armory does go down. That one floor is really an MVP, trying its best to hold off these Mutas.
Alright, looks like here is gonna try to shut down this topside base. Will actually be successful in it.
Yeah, the lack of creep spread, the lack of creep connecting the bases is really, really starting to hurt.
Yeah, the creep spread is quite lacking, but you know what? If these Banelings can still connect on these Marines, maybe. Oh, not quite there.
Yeah, the majority of the Marines do back up far enough such that the Banes don't get connections on them. Where are the Ultras? Yeah, okay, so we do see the Ultras are out and about. Now the question is, does Cure know? He's still producing Marines, he's still producing Marauders and Widow Mines. I don't think he knows yet. This could be a key moment. Okay, so he sees the Ultras, and they don't move forward. Sue is playing very, very patiently. I do like it, but I also feel like, you know, once the ghosts are out, it becomes a whole different ball game.
Yeah, those ghosts can really do serious damage to those Ultralists with the snipes, along with the Widowmine connections as well. I'm sure, I think Kira wants to focus the ghosts on the Ultralists while the Widowmine focus more on the Banelings, because if he can kill off the Banelings, that could take a lot of weight off his shoulders.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, here we go, chasing off of Creek. We do see the Lings and Banes trying to stream on forward. Decent splits from the bio, but not decent enough, it looks like. The Ultras are going to stay alive. Mutas are also alive. 3 Ultras are here, but they are not going to be enough to clean up the rest of this bio. We do see a very cute pickup micro with the Thor and the medevac. Finally, it does get taken down by friendly fire. Oh man, I don't know. Was that worth it? Like, who's in a better spot, right? Like, Sue has a much bigger bank, but he's also, you know, not trading efficiently, which is normal for this matchup, but still.
Yeah, I think he's training a bit too inefficiently because, you know, during that fight, you know, he's just sacked all his Ultralists. He should have actually retreated them, but he sacked them in order to buy himself enough time to have the Mutalists kill that command center. But it wasn't able to in the end. He was Kira was able to save that CC, so he, you know, Sue just sacked all his Ultralists for no reason, basically. And now he's got to remake it. And while he did have a okayish bank, the gas wasn't like astronomical that he can just kind of replenish everything. Now he is on 200 supply, so that's good for him. He's maxed out, but you know, he still needs to make sure that he, you know, kind of rebuild his army that can counteract what Kier has. Because right now, let's look at the army right now for Kier. He has 3 ghosts, which is not the hugest, it seems. He does have 4.
But he's making 5 at a time.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. And he's just established a new base here down in the south, the normal pocket base there. And bases are running out. There's only 1 remaining base left open, and that's down at the south side.
Yeah, with Sue's gas bank, this is probably the second to last army that he can afford. But here we go, a bunch of Lings are going to tank the damage up front. The Banelings are going to roll on through and take care of a few of those ghosts. The Mutas are actually doing great against the ghosts. We do see a few snipes, but the Ultras are going to be left in the backside. This is not nearly enough, however. We do see some ghosts going down, but there's still more remaining. We even see some Marauders remaining. And all in all of the infrastructure survived. Cure maintained his supply. And this is just not looking good for our Blues Earth.
Yeah, Sue just trying over and over again, but Kiera doing a great job for the most part. Cutting back. And now the thing is, his Ghost is pretty low on energy, so he might just not want to commit to this attack. I think it looks like he just wants to kill the Creep Tumor. I think kill the Creep Tumor and just back out right now. Wait for the Ghost to replenish its energy.
Right. See, this is the thing that a lot of people in my community, and like especially Zergs, we've been discussing this a lot. As the Zerg, how do you deal with max Ghosts? Do you just try to get really good fungals or something like that? Because fungals don't really, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta. I think the key is the fungals to make sure that they don't kite the Ghost, because right now the Ghosts, if you can kind of kite the banelings, then you can save a lot of them. If you can fungal the Ghosts, then that can lock them in, have the banelings blow them up, or maybe even the ultras get on top of them.
Right.
So I think that's the key.
And also the damage can interrupt the snipe, I believe.
All right, here we go.
So this is some pretty intense fighting.
Oh yeah, but the banelings
again,
are gone.
some Ghosts. Yeah, all that's left are Lings and Ultras, and they're not really gonna survive. Oh my god, look at that planetary. It finally does go down, so it was worth it to keep those mutas alive. But was this fight overall worth it? I think that Cure is just now starting to break. Now, these Widowmines are going to re-up on their Widowmine shots. But, wow, okay, so a lot of SCVs do go down, and this is the point where Cure's armor is starting to chip. I think this could be a turning point in the game, but only if Sue is able to keep up his economy. He did take that top base, and he is spreading creep, and he is taking the bottom base as well. So things are looking a little bit better for him now than they did maybe a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, that economy from the top base is kicking in. He's even taking that south side base there. Which Kier does see with his SCV there. We'll see if he targets that hatchery later on. But I think he's got to be more worried about this incoming attack here. Now, mainly Lings, Banelings, and Mutalisks, which should allow Kier to at least better kite. But, there's a point where you can kite as much as you want, but there might be just too much on the ground. And it looks like Sue right now, he is going to go ahead and looks like he's just going to back out for now. There is some Lings, though, at the natural that does finally get cleaned up.
Right. Yeah, but look at Cure's supply. It has dipped so heavily, and how many Ghosts does he have out on the field? He just has one, so the lethality, the ability of his armor to deal critical, to deal critical damage to units such as the Ultras and the Mutas has gone down significantly. Now it's on to the Widowmines to clean up the Lings and the Banes, but they're also falling pretty quickly as well. Oh wow, some pretty decent hits finally, but is this going to be enough? I mean, look how far back Sue has pushed his opponent. Okay, yeah, so the Mutas do finally have to back on out. Or maybe...
Oh man, Sue gotta be careful though, not to overextend. He's kind of going in one line at another, but it looks like it might just be enough. The medevacs are quite low on energy, but he's gotta be careful not to overextend, because right now he doesn't have that bank that he had before. And so Sue...
Right.
Oh, but this is gonna be huge. If he can take out this this planetary, that could really hold the economy up here.
Oh, that Ultra. Okay, so the one Ultra does go down finally. Dude, look how scrappy this game is. Man, you could really get a sense of how desperate both players were. Sue trying to take down that planetary with one Ultra, probably didn't even notice that Ultra, probably because he was focused on the Muta Micro, he was focused on the Ultra to the north. Because I feel like if he had just consolidated all of the army, both Ultras, all of the Lings, and all of the Mutas, and just focused down that planetary, he could have had it before Cure was able to reinforce it. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but will it be the case now? He does have a lot more Ultras, he has a lot more Banes. They are going to detonate on the SEVs. The Ultras are going to finally clean up the planetary, and I think this is it. I think Sue's done it. Yes, he has. He's broken through Cure. GG. Yeah, so going back to what you said earlier about the counter to ghosts, my concern is that they're able to EMP, they're also able to snipe. So, do you think that it's just like if you go infestors against ghosts, you just have to be quicker with them, you just have to be luckier, like you have to be on top of your infestor micro when the ghosts are like, AFK or whatever. Like how does that interaction work? Because I don't know, it just I know that I'm biased as a Zerg player myself. It just feels like there's no hard counter to ghosts because they can also counter spellcasters.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, so as I was lucky enough to be able to observe in the Kings of Battle tournaments, I came across a lot of Cero games because, of course, Cero made it very far. In fact, went to the finals, and so
Right.
I saw him, face a fair amount of players, including Maru, and in that series, what he did was he utilized burrowed infestors, right? And you try to send like
Right.
one infestor to like the back line or the backside, a random spot where the turn would not randomly
Yeah.
scan. And what he
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
which I thought was genius, was he would narrow one of the ghosts. And usually
And then self EMP.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
EMP the rest of the other ghosts because they travel in packs.
Right.
Not normally, unless the ghost is off to do its own side mission of nuking bases or something. But yeah, usually they travel in packs, and so you can kind of narrow one of the ghosts and just EMP the rest, and then engage, or you can just pop them up from the ground and fungo the ghosts and have the banelings roll on in and kill all the ghosts. So a lot of different maneuvers in which the Zerg can kill and get on top of the ghosts and kill them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is a very good point that you bring up. The Zerg philosophy will always be if you can't beat them, neural them. I was gonna say join them, and then I was like, wait, but that's not how that works. Man, Cure is consistent. Look at this, going for 3 racks stim once again.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like he is going to go ahead and commit to this build order, which I feel like Maru did a lot of during the King of Battles. It was either Maru or it was maybe Gumiho, I forgot. But it seems like 3 racks play against Zerg has somehow, some reason, come back into play, come back into the meta. So not
Yeah.
sure exactly why, but maybe it has to do with Beyond or something because Beyond loves his 3 racks.
Right, right. Maybe it's because Cure wants to be safe against SOO, and so just having this massive bio this early on ensures that he's not going to die to anything early. That could also be a possible reason.
Right. Anyhow, does SOO have eye on this? Looks like he does have Overlord spread out, but does he see the move out? Let me see if he has a vision. Yeah, he sees the vision of those.
Yeah, he sees it.
Oh, but oh man, he's supply blocked.
Oh, this is really bad. Look at that. 4 overlords on the way. He is not going to have enough by the time the Marines are across the map. Bane Nest not even finished. Well, not that you need a Bane Nest to defend against this, as we did see in a previous game. He defended against this just fine without Banelings, but still, this is not ideal. A lot of bio. They are going to get free cleanups on the creep. Not bad at all. The queens are going to jump on forward, and they are going to start respreading that creep. But this is the danger of putting your queens so far forward, is that, you might find them off creep, you might find them vulnerable to the bio. Both players, again, playing extremely cautiously, neither willing to sacrifice their armies.
Yeah, both of them not quite confident enough to dive on in here. And that was a close call because SOO, it looked a bit scary. He was supply blocked. He was making drones. It looked like he canceled the drones and remade the link set, but the Baneling Nest was not up, so he couldn't make Banelings as well. So Yeah, it was a bit scary there, but with the amount of queens, that's a good thing about having a lot of queens in the early game. You can, use them as defensive measure with the transfuse and all. So, yeah, so nicely done there in the defense, and doing a much better job in at least being more mindful of spreading that creep tumor this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, here we go. We see a basically 270-degree spread on the Ling's queens. There are so many of them, by the way. They are going to form a bit of a concave as well, taking down the medevac. All the Lings aren't going to go down, but there are more than enough queens to handle the rest of this army. Yeah, look at that. SOO handily defends against this. He did have to delay his 4th base, but of course, it was more than worth it because his opponent was so aggressive with the bio push. Only just now does Kier's his 3rd command center finish and not on location. So I'd say all in all, SOO is probably happy about trading out all of his Lings and Banes. That is their purpose in this matchup, is that you lose the Lings and Banes, that way you don't lose the hatchery, you don't lose the queens, and most importantly, you don't lose the drones.
Yeah, I mean, throughout this whole game, I mean, SOO has been relatively greedy, so for him to get away with this, I mean, he's feeling confident enough to at least expand like crazy. Before Kier can establish his dirt base, he's already got 5 base being put up here. However, Kier is not letting up. He still has this little harass, but it looks like SOO is kind of dealing with this with relative ease. I mean, hasn't really suffered or lost too much to these drops.
Yeah, definitely. So far, he's had pretty good spread on the queens. Look at this, the medevac getting super low on health. The Lings are also spread pretty well. Not too many Banelings have died, you know, like it's looking pretty good for our Zerg so far. But of course, anything can change, you know, as you move into the different parts of the game, as you move into the mid game, as you transition into the late game. All of that can start to catch up with you. We see that SOO has been floating a little bit of money pretty consistently, but he does have a macro hatch up and running, and that is going to help him maintain this very larva-intensive style of Ling Bane. And honestly, I really like seeing him play Ling Bane because I'm so used to watching him play roaches in every matchup.
Yeah, he does love himself some roaches. And by the way, thank you, Some Drunk Canadian, with a rate of 178. Hope you guys had a nice stream over there. You are now witnessing game number 4 here on the Hardwire as both these players trying to, Kier on Kier's side, he's trying to close out the series. SOO trying to tie up the series and force it to a game number 5. And boy, do we have a game right here.
Oh yeah. Looks like we're going into the mid/late game once again. We see the Hydras are going to be, the tech of choice. I actually am going to assume that Lurkers are going to be next, right? We see the Infestation Pit. We see possibly a Hive coming up after that. Oh, very cute. We see a double Liberator coming into the main. 2 is better than 1, of course. We all know.
Of course, you got to go with your brother. And siege up mineral lines as a tandem.
Yeah.
They're like the
Get
Fred.
the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do finally start to see some drone losses, but it's obviously not nearly enough to, justify all of Kier's losses so far. And in fact, I just noticed SOO's 2-2 has already finished, whereas Kier's 2-2 is still, taking some time to wrap up. So SOO is actually ahead on upgrades. Now, the Hive is going to delay his 3-3 start just a little bit, so it's not like a significant lead. But look at that. He just cleans up another drop to the south side. There is a drop up to the northwest, which has yet to be taken care of. Oh, okay. Those Banelings. But yeah, SOO is just taking care of things. He's dotting his I's, crossing his T's, spreading that creep, taking care of any rocks in his way. Look at that. He's all maxed out. He's ready to start trading.
Yeah, looks like he is ready to pounce on Kier. He's been harassed all through this time. Now it's his time to go for the attack. Now the thing is, I would love to see Su just throw down a lurker den right now.
Yeah, right.
I think because right now there's no guarantee this attack will be successful, and if he can transition to lurker attack, I think that will serve him well if the game does go on beyond this attack here.
Right. On the other hand, if he... Oh, look at that. Ultra Den once again. So we see a bit of a stylistic type of choice coming out for Su. I don't love it. I like it. I just don't love it. As we've seen in previous games, Ultras do have their flaws in this matchup. But anyways, yeah, I was just going to say, instead of Lurkers, Su could also think about going for Vipers for a more immediate type of game-ending decision. I mean, look at this. He's feeling aggressive enough to move on forward. He takes care of a lot of the tanks. Not going to be quite enough to break on through, but he does break the front line. So I think that Su is going to try to replicate this once again. He's going to go in with wave after wave of Lings and Banes, and he's just going to keep on spending his money that way. I would love to see a few Vipers, right? If he wants to continue the style, then just throw down 1 or 2 Blinding Clouds, 1 or 2 Abducts on the tanks, and then the cleanup becomes so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if he had Vipers, a couple of Vipers during that last engagement. I mean, all those tanks would have been yoinked, would have been much easier to clean up. So here we have Su going once again for that south side base. Will get it with the rest of the bailing connections there. However, there is another command center here, Fork here. We'll go ahead and just relocate once again. Su once again though, continuing this attack here.
Yeah, this is the breaking point. We've been here before. Cure losing almost 20 SCVs. He's about to lose 5 more as they are stuck inside of that command center. I've never seen that, actually, which is cool. But yeah, more Lings are gonna flood on through. Some Ultras as well, and of course the +3/+3 attack and Carapace upgrades are gonna come up. It doesn't matter because Su is gonna tie up the series 2-2 here in game number 4.
Oh man!
Here we go.
Hey, TeaDragon, do you see what I'm seeing?
Oh, I see it all right. Now, if Su doesn't see it, that's when the game gets interesting. This Overlord is on the path. Okay, all right, cool. So, I guess we know what happens next, right?
Yeah. Well, now the question: will Su pull the drones to stop this, or will he just? Okay, yeah, he is pulling the drones. He is like, maybe I can stop at least one of the barracks from finishing. I mean, if he stops both of them, then that is, I would say that's pretty much GG.
Right. Now, it does look like the first one is going to finish, but I do think, from my rudimentary knowledge of cheese defense, you do want to drone pool against a 2 racks, right? Like, this is good. You cannot pool against the 3 racks, I believe, something like that.
Now, the good thing is that because this is a 2 racks, you can start chipping away at those SCV health points. So it makes it even harder to make a bunker at the front. So looks like Su is going to fairly get the better end of this trade. It slows down the rush here. Now these 4 drones will have to be careful though. Don't want to get intercepted by these Marines.
Right. Look at that. The Marines are already in place. Oh, okay. So the drones do see them. They are going to rotate on down to the south, but so are the Marines. They are going to try to keep those 4 drones from getting home no matter what, apparently.
Oh my goodness, it's too funny.
Oh, this is hilarious, actually. It is quite smart. Now, this queen is going to be critical in maintaining this position. I mean, we don't see a lot of Lings out just yet, but what I do like is that Su is confident enough in his queen defense that he will not need spines. I honestly would not have been that confident. Oh, look at that! The 4 drones actually made it home? That's crazy. Oh, but the first queen does fall. We do see the Lings coming off of creep. I don't like this move a lot. I think that they will need to trade against like maybe a couple of those Marines. But yeah, look at that. I think only one Marine went down to those Lings. So this is getting a little bit dicey.
Yeah, and this because this is a 2 Rex, Kier doesn't have to get huge damage done. He only has to get decent amount of damage done. So, but you know what?
Right.
Sue, he has bought himself enough time for Ling Speed to almost finish. If he gets Ling Speed and gets a surround on these Marines, there's going to be no Marines to go back home to defend behind the wall, and that could be troublesome.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here we go. The Lings are going to jump on top of the Marines. That Hellion is going to go down quite quickly, but so are these Marines. More Lings are going to reinforce, and I think that's it. This rush has been stopped, and how many drones have gone down? I think only 1 or 2?
Looks like only 1.
Very, very nice. Very well played. So I think that Sue is pretty happy about his position. Like you said, though, Snoopy, this was a not as committed rush, right? Only 2 proxy raxes instead of something crazy like 3 or 4. So it's not like this was all in by any means. Kier is not in a good position, but he's still in a playable position, I think.
Yeah, certainly not over for him. I mean, he's got his CC on the way. I'm thinking Sue might want to start getting his own third hatchery here. Looks like game does go progress longer. But yeah, Kier's certainly not out of this game by any means.
Right.
All right, a little bit lucky there for Sue, as he does have the Overlord scouting that medevac drop. We should see Sue getting in position to help defend against this. Now, this is going to be 4 Hellions, and he's going to get on top of it.
Oh, that's so smart, dropping a Hellion on the low ground. That way the Lings can't get to it. I like that a lot. Oh, but look at this. A couple of Hellions coming into the natural base as well, getting themselves into a very nice position to roast quite a few of those Lings. But all in all, only 2 drones go down. Now, what I do like is that Kier has been on top of his... Oh, hold that thought. 4 more Hellions are coming into the natural. So this drop that failed up in the main is going to succeed just a little bit at the natural. Drones are going to get off a nice little surround to finish that off, but that is not a bad amount of drones to kill off. Now, even though Kier has been on one base this whole time, he has mules, and he has also been keeping up with his SCV production such that he's almost on par with the number of drones that are out on the map as well. So I think, like you said earlier, this is definitely not an impossible position for our Terran player.
Yeah, he's doing himself a nice job keeping Sue in check here, as he does roast some more stuff here. Will he get... Oh, we'll see if Sue get this around. Man, some of these Hellions are in so red life.
Oh, look at that. Keeping that one Hellion alive. It's co-pilot in the other... Or not co-pilot, but its fellow Hellion driver in the other Hellion was not so fortunate. And I do like that that landed Viking was there to, bolster the DPS just a little bit.
All right, so now, I mean, let's take a look at this game. I mean, Sue has, I would say, finally stabilized here a little bit. He has, withheld all these harasses. There is still 3 more Hellions coming in, but it looks like shouldn't get too much done.
Wow.
There's only 3 Hellions.
I don't know. They are getting off some nice pot shots. Well, okay, so 6. Yeah, dude. Kier is relentless with the harass. Like you said, it feels like Sue has been stabilizing gradually. But you were saying.
Yeah, well, that was before the 7 drones went down. I thought he had more Lings, but apparently, he did not, and he was kind of caught a little bit with his pants down there, and does suffer some more drones losses. He does do a really great job replenishing it, but that's at the cost of army supply, and with this attack coming, with this drop, which is full with Medevac and Marines, Sue's got a little bit. It's going to be a bit scary for him.
Oh, definitely.
What does he really have? He only has a couple of Lings. Does he have any Banelings? Not a lot of Queens as well. Oh, man.
Ooh, okay, so the 4th base is in trouble now. What I love is that earlier Kier actually moved these medevacs back a little bit because he saw the scouting Ling with his Viking ahead of the double drop. So he he delayed the double drop just a little bit. As I say that, more Hellions are coming. Oh my god. No. 7 more drones. How many drones have been killed in total this game?
Currently 25.
Oh, man. That's literally enough for another base. That's crazy. I think Cure has found his rhythm. I think Cure is realizing, hey, you know, I just gotta keep up the pressure. I gotta harass Sue's economy, you know, just absolutely nonstop, and that's how I'm gonna win this game.
Yeah, I mean, Cure cancels another hatchery here now. However, the Mutalisks are out, so looks like this will finally get cleaned up. Oh, but he even loses another Mutalisk there. This is not looking good for our Blue Zerg.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, when you're on 3 bases against the Terran who's also on 3 bases, that's when you know something's wrong.
Alright, now the good news is, looks like SOO will finally get map control, as these Mutalisks are out. And so we'll allow him to finally get the 4th base up after what seems like a million years, but...
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so these mutas are going to come in here. They are going to try to prevent that extractor from building, or that refinery, excuse me. Okay, not bad. You know, killing an SCV or 2. And again, like, this is deja vu because SOO has had his 4th base delayed in past games, and he's compensated for it by taking a 5th base at the same time. And so at the very least, one of them gets up. The difference being, it's already 10.5 minutes in this game, and it's just had such a scrappy opener and such a scrappy harass phase that it's pretty dicey for the Zerg, I would say. I don't think that there are enough Banelings to deal with this attack. Well, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Well, this 6 o'clock base is definitely going to go down as all his units are in the main base. This will should be cancelled.
Yep. Now we do see 3 tanks already, a pretty sizable amount. The drop does finally get cleaned up by the mutas. Oh, interesting. When did Hydras, like, get on the field? That seems kind of sudden to me.
Yeah,
I wasn't paying too much attention.
Yeah, I think he might have been scouted with the Mutalisk, so he was like, okay, I'll invest a few Mutalisks, but I'm not going to invest too much. I'm going to go ahead and transition to Hydralisk.
Right. I like that move a lot. Oh, but this is getting a little dicey. Luckily, the Lings and the Mutas do get out of there before the Bio can, you know, pinch them in that position. Okay, so the rocks are being broken down. Creep is being spread, but at the same time, it is also being pushed back. A lot of tanks. A lot of tanks. I think that more Lings is probably the right move here for SOO. Mutas are going to come down from the south side. Once again, they're going to find a free supply depot. At the same time, SOO is going to go for it. He thinks that he can break this siege tank line, and it looks like he's probably right.
Oh my goodness.
Lings and Banes are going to keep streaming forward, and all of a sudden, this looked like a dominating fight by SOO. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, Snoopy. I was completely kidding. Okay, I did not expect this, but I'm so happy that this is happening.
Well, you predicted that SOO was gonna win 3 straight after being down 0-2, and you know what? You might be right here. I mean, SOO is coming back with a vengeance. He had a great flank here on the tank, on the high ground, and now all that remains are a bunch of Mutalisks, but he has a bunch of Banelings. He's gonna go roll on in. There's no Widow Mines. There's 2 tanks in the back, but it's at the natural area. And SOO, he pushes this back, and now he's gonna be on the driver's seat. He's the one in control.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one with the bank. He's the one with the supply lead. He's got everything going for him.
Yeah.
Now the only that isn't going for him is upgrades. But at this point, with this much bio of, with this much Ling Bane, it's probably not even necessary. Look at that. The tanks are going to siege up way too close to the ramp. There are some pretty decent splits, right? So the first Ling wave is going to get cleaned up eventually, but the mutas still are not being cleaned up. Bio is going to desperately shove on forward, but I don't think that tanks were the right call. Not when you're going up against SOO's Ling Bane Hydra.
Alright, more Banelings are rolling. Oh, gotta be careful. Don't want to go in through that choke area.
Right. A very nice pullback.
Oh, wow. Nice job by these Mutalisks trying to take down these reinforcements. More Lings are being made here. Looks like SOO is going to go ahead and go for another flank.
A surround. Here we go. Banelings are going to connect with basically everything. The tanks were in very, very good positions, but it's just not good enough when you get surrounded like that. Cure is going to get cleaned up once again. He is taking advantage of choke points, which is excellent. That's what you need to be doing as the Terran. But I think at this point, there's just too much Zerg, right? Like, the bank is still being maintained by SOO, and the supply leads, they just get wider and wider.
Yeah, and during that fight, you know, the Mutalisks and as well as the Hydralisks sniped down the Medivacs. So all he has is 2 Medivacs remaining.
Oh boy. Oh, but that is 3 tanks. They are going to be absolutely deadly. However, the Hydras are already on top of them, so it doesn't actually matter all too much. We do see Marauders trying their best, but they are not going to hold up on their own against Ling Bane. And once again, SOO is on the chase off of Creep. Like, this could be it.
Yeah,
this is it. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no way.
Wow,
No
what an
way.
incredible series. Congrats to SOO as he takes down Cure 3-2. Wow.